Happy holidays, everybody! If you watch this channel, you know that I love Spider-Man, and everybody loves Spider-Man. He's one of the most popular comic book characters and icons in the world. And you know what else people love that's super popular? Christmas. For most people, the holidays and Christmas time represent joy and quality time with family, while also being achingly cold and lonely at times.
That dichotomy sounds like Spidey to me, a funny, powerful hero that also struggles with middle-class problems. He lives in a broken-down apartment, he has relationship issues, he deals with immense loss, all while being a symbol that brings people hope.
And that all sounds great. Wow, Finn, you made a metaphorical connection between Spider-Man and Christmas.
Well, you may be surprised by just how often Marvel's most popular hero finds himself dealing with snowstorms in New York, Christmas miracles, the holiday blues, and sometimes even a criminal Santa. Today, we're going to explore the time Spider-Man prominently crosses paths with Christmas across comics, animation, film, video games, and basically anything else I can think of.
And I mean it when I say that I think Spider-Man may embody the Christmas spirit more than any superhero in existence. So, grab some hot cocoa, get cozy, and together we'll unwrap the Christmas history of our favorite wall crawler.
Whether it's full-blown Christmas-centered stories or just a backdrop for a larger, overarching story, Spidey's earliest tangles with the holidays are pretty much what you'd expect. There are a lot of great slice-of-life moments with the people in Peter Parker's life, but he still suits up to stop some holiday-themed bad guys.
I love that the best of these issues showcase how lonely Christmas can be for people and also show how lonely it is to be Spider-Man in a big city like New York.
Marvel Team Up #1 is a cute standalone issue where Human Torch and Spider-Man team up to stop the Sandman, who's giving them trouble on Christmas Eve. The issue ends with Sandman getting to spend Christmas Eve with his supposed mother, and Pete gives him a gift to give to her that he had intended for Gwen later. It's a nice issue, but nothing to write home about. I love the ending panel, however. The real holiday vibes come in our next issue. Spectacular Spider-Man 112 is an awesome issue. It's cool to see a Spider-Man book that focuses on his personal life with a real supporting cast. We spend just as much time with Peter's friends in this story as we do with Spidey. There are a ton of Christmas elements in this issue, but my favorite is the adult experience of miscommunications and trying to get a hold of people for the holidays. Family is such an important part of the holiday season. The ending of this issue has the Parkers all together, and I love this earlier line about Uncle Ben. At the start, Peter's pretty distanced from his loved ones and is going through it after the death of Jean DeWolf. He's living alone and is down to his last 2 cans of Coke in the fridge, spending his time talking to his suit. Outside of Peter, a department store Santa is asking kids for their addresses so he can go and rob them, which is insane. It also lets us have this amazing cover. Spidey comes to take care of this crook Santa, but it seems like the real Santa stepped in and even brought gifts for the kids. I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed this issue, until at the end I saw that Peter David wrote it, and it all made sense. In Amazing Spider-Man 314, just in time for Christmas, the classic Parker luck hits and Peter and MJ get evicted. They end up having to ask around for a place to stay, and the themes of helping the people in your life who have fallen on hard times is so in line with the Christmas spirit. Peter and MJ are trying their best to just get by and suffer by circumstances outside of their control, but are also then blessed by the people in their lives with a lot of love to give. This issue also captures the feeling of running around, running errands, or trying to get things done so close to Christmas. The streets are packed with cars and snow is constantly falling. There's some really great Spidey action as he takes down some criminals and a Santa even gets held at gunpoint. But by far the best part of the issue is the ending. Peter and MJ end up making the decision to stay with Aunt May for Christmas after Peter finds his aunt at his uncle's grave. Throughout the issue, Peter wrestles with wanting to remain independent after he loses his home, but he still makes the choice to be with his aunt out of love for her. It's a bittersweet ending that reflects how painful the holidays can be for a lot of people. Spidey has a segment in the Marvel Holiday Special, and it's a delight. The beginning of the issue nails the big city vibe that Spider-Man is known for, while also giving a glimpse of how hard it is to be Spider-Man. Spidey goes to visit kids at a children's hospital, and against J. Jonah Jameson's wishes, they all tell stories about how Spider-Man saved them at some point. They view him as a larger-than-life figure and are immune to the cynicism that has plagued the older J. Jonah Jameson. I found it so wonderful how, as Jameson tries to slander Spidey's name as usual, the kids defend him and even show how many times Jameson was saved by Spider-Man. It's really cathartic. They even reference one of the most famous Spider-Man stories of all time, Amazing Spider-Man 248, and it fits this story so well. Some thieves come to rob the place, and just before a kid is about to be killed, Jonah steps in and becomes a hero. The kids cheer him on, and as Spidey swings away, Jonah has a really nice moment where he tells a kid that he will go easier on Spider-Man. This story not only tells us everything we need to know about Spider-Man and who he is, but it's a great dissection of J. Jonah Jameson as well. He's almost like a Scrooge character in this book, but by the end his heart has softened and it ends on a really sweet note. Spider-Man's Tangled Web 21 is really cute and pretty underrated in my opinion. It follows not just Spidey, but also the Fantastic Four on Christmas Eve with some breathtaking art by the legend Darwin Cook. In this issue, Peter helps some kids who are lost in a huge snowstorm and brings them to a party at the Daily Bugle, leaving J. Jonah Jameson to take care of all of them. I love this part where Jonah makes the kids cry. He genuinely can't help himself. At the same time, Flash Thompson's dressing up as Spidey at a Macy's department store for Christmas. It's interesting to see how many of these stories involve the mall or department stores. It's a good peek into the culture of the 80s through the 2000s. I just don't really ever hear about department store Santas in 2025. We get to see members of the Fantastic Four and Avengers shop around New York for gifts, who then run into a villain robbing the department store while mind-controlling Flash and Medusa. The amount of Macy's mentions in this issue is kind of ridiculous, like Macy's must have paid the big bucks to get this kind of product placement. But the store is all decorated and Christmas themed, so I guess it gets a pass. The way Cook draws the Fantastic Four here feels like the reincarnation of Jack Kirby. His art is just so pleasant. Also, this part where the Thing punches Spider-Man as he thinks he's the thief and he flies across the next panel is hilarious. At the end of the issue, we get two beautiful Christmas spreads, and I want to frame them because they are so sweet. Especially the last page with the Parkers and the Daily Bugle staff all together on Christmas. It's a heartwarming end to a really fun issue. The last major issue we're going to take a look at today is the recent Spider-Man Holiday Spectacular. It actually just came out last month. I found myself really enjoying this issue as it captures the feeling you get when a loved one isn't around on Christmas. The issue starts with Spidey hanging out with the Fantastic Four at a Christmas party when he learns that Aunt May won't be around for Christmas this year. He comes home to an empty apartment and heads off to the Avengers Christmas party in space. All of the heroes keep inviting him to spend Christmas with them since he's going to be alone. Spidey keeps changing what Christmas he's going to go to and eventually ends up in Hell's Kitchen delivering presents with Daredevil on Christmas Eve and with Logan and the X-Men on Christmas Day. The issue ends with them all having Christmas dinner together and playing baseball before Peter gets to actually spend Christmas with his aunt, and it's really sweet. I love these different splash pages and panels of the different Christmas parties Peter gets to go to. They really represent the different teams well. You know the feeling when you go to a family Christmas party and then go to a party with all your friends? It's fun to see Peter spend time with all of the different heroes, but seeing him on a New Year's cruise with Aunt May is delightful. Something I love about these comic stories is, unlike a lot of our favorite Christmas movies, the spirit of Christmas doesn't automatically just make Peter's life better. It more often than not actually makes it worse. But the love of those around him gives him the strength he needs to keep going and to be a hero. And to me, that sounds like a perfect Spider-Man story. Logan says it best. Holidays can be hard, but most things are better when Spider-Man shows up.
When Spider-Man steps into the realm of animation, his Christmas adventures start to feel more like holiday specials, and some episodes are definitely better than others.
Reinforcement is probably the best Christmas-themed episode Spidey has ever had, even though it technically isn't a Christmas episode. Spectacular Spider-Man uses semi-serialized storytelling, which makes it a great show, but it also means that it's a bit harder to just jump in for a random episode. Romantic subplots carry over from the season, and the inner dynamics of the villains could be a tad confusing if you didn't watch the previous season. For example, we get the absolute worst design for Kraven the Hunter ever, and unless you watched his previous episode, you might not know why he's a walking leopard man. In this episode, the Sinister Six get back together to wreck Spidey's holiday, while Peter Parker is dealing with his usual girl troubles. There's some really funny moments in this episode.
Is there a problem?
I've had bad experiences with cats.
And multiple mentions of Santa, or as Spidey would put it,
Ho, ho, ho. I'm Spidey Claus.
Something I love about this show is that it's not afraid to make Peter imperfect and be the bad guy. Multiple times in this episode, he acts like a dumb teenage boy with girls, and it's hard to watch, but I can't get enough of it. The Christmas vibes here are immaculate. There's snow and Christmas trees everywhere, Christmas music plays in the background, and we get a shot of Carnage wearing a Santa hat. Our characters actually engage in holiday activities and things exclusive to New York, like how Peter and the gang get to go ice skate at Rockefeller Center. I love that the Parker household still has a stocking up for Uncle Ben, and the ending is really heartwarming. Just a fantastic episode. These Ultimate Spider-Man episodes are very forgettable in my opinion, but that doesn't mean we don't get some holiday cheer here. In Season 3's Nightmare on Christmas, we get an entirely Christmas-themed episode. There's Christmas music and iconography all over, Spidey makes a few Christmas-themed quips, and there's even a scene of Spider-Man's friends opening gifts on Christmas morning. Most importantly, however, this is an adaptation of A Christmas Carol. Peter Parker is left alone on Christmas Eve and faces visions of his past, present, and future as Spider-Man. It's a very loose adaptation, basically only using the 3 visions of his past gimmick and nothing else from the original story. It's honestly a pretty good idea, but the execution is very mixed. I like the concept a lot, and I like that they're trying to give him a classic-looking art style for the first segment. They give him the Ditko eyes and spider symbol, which I seriously appreciate. Outside of this portion of the episode, however, the show just looks bad and doesn't really move me. It's also not really funny, it's actually pretty irritating. Not a terrible episode, but it easily peaks in the retro segment early on. It feels like they barely tried in the future segment, and the show tries to make it feel like Peter is learning some great lesson, and it falls very flat for me, something we will see in the next episode as well. Season 4's Moon Knight Before Christmas is worse than Season 3's episode in almost every way. There's a far lesser emphasis on Christmas this time, and for a Christmas-themed episode, that's really lame. There are Christmas decorations to be found still, snow piling up on New York buildings, demon elves, and evil gingerbread men, but this episode feels more like the holidays are a backdrop for a really boring supernatural story. The episode tries to tap into themes of being alone on the holidays or how family's the most important thing on Christmas, but there are way too many annoying gags to make it feel remotely serious. Spidey says it best himself.
To be fair, I think everything's a joke.
The episode is just kind of boring and all over the place. If you like a more supernatural, goofy story as a Christmas episode, you may like this one, but it's not for me. If Ultimate Spider-Man, and to a lesser extent Spectacular, were made solely for kids, then Spidey was made for babies straight out of the womb. Going in, I had zero expectations for this show outside of it hopefully delivering some cozy Christmas vibes for kids, and I guess it kinda delivers on that. In A Very Spidey Christmas, Doc Ock steals gifts Grinch style, and there's a giant Christmas tree robot with tentacle arms. I hope the target demographic loves this, but as a 26-year-old man, there is nothing for me here. Merry Spidey Christmas is more of the same. I love when a Spider-Man story is set in New York, and this one opens with a gingerbread town and the gang in the middle of Times Square, and it's kind of fun. Also, side note, this is the most bizarre voice for Rhino I have ever heard.
My turn! Can't catch me!
In this episode, the villains crash the city's Christmas party, and the spiders stop them almost instantly. Then they use their webs to fix the Christmas decorations that were ruined. It's cute enough. Safe to say, though, after this video, I won't be watching this show again until I have a kid.
There hasn't been a straight-up Spider-Man Christmas movie, as cool as that would be, but the holidays have definitely made some prominent appearances in the background.
Into the Spider-Verse, a film I just talked about in my last video, actually came out around Christmas time and has all kinds of Christmas iconography all over it. The film starts off in fall, but about 30 minutes in, the snow starts to come down and the holiday season arrives. This has some thematic importance as well. In the first act of the film, Miles is coming of age and getting started in a new school. There's a Spider-Man protecting the city from harm, and the weather is still warm. At the end of the first third of the film, and when Miles gets his powers, his universe's Peter Parker is killed. And when Miles' whole worldview is shaken, the snow starts to fall. When Miles goes to visit Peter Parker's grave, it's snowing everywhere and is pretty somber. That is until a different Peter Parker's head goes straight through a snowman. The most important thing this film adds to the conversation, however, is the introduction of A Very Spidey Christmas. Spidey Bells is a funny few-second gag at the beginning of the film, but they actually made a full Christmas EP that you can listen to right now. You get songs from all 3 Spider-Men in the film, and honestly, I still can't believe this really exists. Spidey Bells is horrible, but so hilarious. No Way Home is similar to Spider-Verse as it's a film set around Christmas time, and just like the previously mentioned film, it was released in late December, just in time for the holidays. In this film, there are holiday decorations all over, and the biggest use of them is the ending scene. Peter Parker, after the death of his aunt, makes a new suit and goes for a final swing through the city. He swings through Rockefeller Center, a staple in the best Spider-Man Christmas stories, and passes in front of the enormous Christmas tree. This scene is already iconic, and the fact that it's centered around Christmas makes it stand out even more. They also did these holiday TV spots, which cement this film as a Christmas movie in my mind. In this film, Peter's identity is revealed to the world, and in an effort to erase everyone's memories, his villains from the multiverse are accidentally brought back into his universe. Peter wants to save the villains and cure them instead of having them killed, and by the end of the film, he has to sacrifice everyone's knowledge that he exists. Something that No Way Home nails is the idea of giving. Peter could easily let all his villains die, and it would make his life better, honestly, but he chooses to make sacrifices to help them. He does things that don't help him in any way, but help people in need, and that is the definition of who Spider-Man is and aligns perfectly with the Christmas spirit. Switching to video games, Spider-Man Miles Morales is set at Christmas, but the holidays impact this game much more than either film we've discussed previously. When you swing through the city, you're hit with a Manhattan that is covered in snow. The skies are gray, and the snow is constantly coming down in cutscenes. They really go all out with the winter feel. This is also the most graphically advanced piece of art we've looked at yet outside of the movies, and they nail how the streets of New York look in winter or any major city streets. The atmosphere is fantastic here. There are tons of holiday lights, festive decorations, and activities for our characters to do, like ice skating. It's cool to swing through the city, one that is pretty similar to the city from the first Insomniac game, but see how it's changed with the season or how it's decorated for the holidays. The inside of Miles' apartment is warmly lit and twinkling lights are everywhere. There's even a mission where you have to decorate for Christmas. Miles is on winter break from school and even has Christmas dinner with his family. In this story, Miles has to learn to become Spider-Man and protect New York while Peter's away, and I love the way the game deals with his shortcomings and his strengths, not only as a hero, but as a friend. Miles is still dealing with the death of his dad, and this is his family's first Christmas without that major part of his family. Miles is trying to talk to girls, balance his relationship with his mom and his friends, all while learning how to become a hero. Similar to the films we discussed, the film is set during Christmas, but isn't quite about Christmas. However, the story being set during the holidays elevates it and gives it some character that films and other games just don't have. It makes it a more memorable experience. We have movies and TV shows we watch annually around the holidays, so it's great to add a game to the list of art that can get you in the Christmas spirit.
I think it's fitting that Spider-Man keeps finding his way back to Christmas stories. As we've seen today, Spider-Man has faced larger-than-life villains, getting evicted, family drama, and multiversal battles.
These stories being set at Christmas emphasize how hard Peter's life can be, and how hard your life can be. You could get kicked out of your home, your loved ones might be gone for the holiday, or for some, forever. Even with the parties and holiday cheer, it's easy to find yourself feeling alone and cold. Christmas is the perfect time to show the ups and downs of life. One day you could be visiting a grave and the next day you're swinging through Rockefeller Plaza, but even in the loneliest moments, Spidey still comes through. Spider-Man's greatest strength may just be his willpower. No matter what is going on in his life, he still perseveres through trials and finds the strength to help people. The best Spider-Man stories showcase sacrifice, perseverance, and his heart, and Christmas lets us see humanity in not just our favorite hero, but in everyone.
I hope this holiday season you're able to embody the holiday spirit as well as Spider-Man's, spend time with your loved ones, and maybe help someone in need. I know the holidays can be challenging for a lot of us, but with strength like Spider-Man, I hope they're just a tiny bit easier. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and I'll see you next time. Peace.